That's all I'm doing now is waiting. All I need is for someone to take me there. See the ladies down my street, they've got something that's not for me to have. Seems that nothing's ever really changing. Seems that I will have to find my own way out. See the way the man's eyes gleam, the flicker of an untold dream. I am young. I am young. And I am waiting. There must be something more out there, something beyond this dull provincial life. Never seen society, but I think it would quite suit me somehow. I could take a train out to the gold fields. I could live alone, make my fortune there. Meet my lover, do some good, do the things the young lad should. I am young. I am young. And I am leaving. It's tomorrow, I just need out. Don't care if there'll be sorrow, I'll do without. Don't care what it brings, I need to leave. From this blood window, there's no reprieve. For through my window is the sky, is the sky. I am young, young and dumb, but I am leaving.
Put this new shovel out.
Hello. Looking for someone?
Oh, no thank you. I'm new to this town, you see.
Yes, I can tell. Come to make your fortune?
Yes, quite. All seems rather strange, now that I'm here amongst it all. So different than how I imagined it.
No, it always is. You'll always romanticize your first day of good, honest work until you can't see the colour of your hands under the debt. You feel closer to hell than you ever have.
Oh, is it truly like that?
No, I don't mean to put you off. It's difficult at first, but I don't mind it. At night, when we all have our fires going, and I bring out my old battered book that I got from the man next door, it doesn't feel so bad. And it's not like I have any other option anyway. So you're the new devil, to try your luck up here. We'll pull your britches up and take those white slacks off. Nothing is clean round here. You get used to the wear and tear, state of disrepair. to check into a cheap hotel. I'll write to tell. There you are, that should do you well. Don't want to get caught up in any sort of fuss when you're so new. And if I'm being honest, I think this land is dry. I found no dust, just sand and mud and rust.
What's all their parties? Is their society? And if I find it, will they love me? And are there people? And will I find their future? I have so been longing for.
Oh, it's my city, dark and coarse and gritty. Haven't really found much, but I suppose I'm still young. Nothing's really new, I think we'll probably die alone and yet to find what I am looking for. Looking for. Looking for. Looking for. Looking for.
Well, thank you. I must confess that I would have been rather lost and confused if I hadn't encountered you. May I ask your name?
Percival Hunt. Percy, my friends.
And my friend?
That's yet to be decided. And you are...
Oh, I'm Edward. Edward Waterford.
Charmed, I'm sure. Now, you'd better check into that hotel before it gets too full. And come back here to the fields first thing in the morning. I'll show you the best spots to mine, or rather the spots that are slightly less miserable than the others.
I'll be there, I assure you. Goodbye.
Right, come
Excuse me for intruding, Sir Boss. That was truly marvelous playing.
Thank you. Playing is one of my chief pleasures, and in consequence, I play rather well.
Oh, yes indeed.
I have many virtues, dear boy, but humility is most certainly not one of them. If you'd ever been acquainted with me, you'd know that. I never shy from complimenting myself, provided it's truthful, of course. I've never understood why I should try and be meek and humble and bow daintily to those who applaud me, when I'd much rather be applauding myself, remember. I've not seen you around here before. I'm guessing that you're new, and quite a regular among the establishments besides. Something about your look, very fresh, green, new to the world. Am I right in assuming that?
Well, yes, I just arrived today. I've only spoken to a few people, yet they all seem to know that I'm new here.
Well, when you're overworked and weary, the sight of a fresh face becomes obvious, I should think. I'm Augustus Hughes.
Edward Waterford.
You know, I envy you. Society is yet to receive you, but I'm sure that it's waiting. Oh, to be in your place, yet to experience all the balls, champagne, music, conversation only society can bring you.
Really? There are balls here? Parties? Women in fancy dresses, just like the ones who walked past my window back home in Dunedin. In the black dinner jackets?
Oh yes. In fact, I was just about to head down to the club now. I'm sure they wouldn't mind me sneaking you in, especially when you have so fresh a countenance.
I would love to, but will it run rather late?
Will the sun rise tomorrow? Will the earth continue to spin? It's no fun if it doesn't run late. You get to experience the true vices of people in the dark early morning, when everyone's a little more drunk than they'd like to admit.
I'm afraid I'll have to decline your offer then. I promised the man down at the gold mines I'll be there first thing tomorrow morning. He's going to show me the best spots there, you see. Teach me the trade and all that.
Where's the fun in that? You mustn't get entrenched into working life so quickly. You've only just arrived.
He seemed a rather friendly lad. I'd hate to let him down.
Those gold miners are always so droll, spending all their time knee-deep in the soil and the rest of it getting drunk on some cheap beer in some dingy tavern. They're simply not company at all. One may as well dine with an animal or something else lowly. He'll likely leave you behind after the first day. Besides, gold mining isn't exactly a friendly business. You really want you mining in all the best spots.
Suppose not. If it is truly so competitive.
Of course it is. He'll have you labouring away all day in the mud for not even a pinch of dust. No. A bright young boy such as yourself would do much better learning all the whims and wonders of the world. Now come, there is so much that you are yet to know.
Yeah. He's up at the party after. Oh, yes.
What do you think?
Certainly busy.
You get used to it. You know, I may seem like a man of leisure, but I've always followed one philosophy. That knowledge is the most vital virtue of them all. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yes, it certainly does a man good to be educated.
It's much more than just good. It's our entire reason for living, is it not? For example, what is it to love but to know the goodness of someone's soul? What is it to want but to know the value of something and pray for it? What does it take but to know the wickedness and decay of something or someone and feel prejudice based on that knowledge?
Goodness, you've become rather philosophical. Still, I suppose you are right. I've never thought about it in that way. Although, I love and hate our feelings. Knowledge is certainly the basis of feeling, but you can't exactly feel it. Surely that's it.
Of course they aren't. Our lives are but long chains of feeling after feeling, and they are filled with only what we know. If we do not know each intricacy of the human spirit, what charms it, what motivates it, what maims it, then we cannot live it to its fullest potential. We live what we know. But if we only know little, then our horizons are forever bland, our lives forever dull and uninspiring. Knowledge has long since been represented by stuffy old men clutching dusty tomes, but this is not what knowledge is at all. It is a delicious fuel for the mind, to learn everything that one can. With each new discovery comes a new form of pleasure, a new outlook on the world, a new type of awakening. What is the point in living or loving when one does not know what life or love are? In vain you have lost, in vain you have struggled, in vain you have tried to keep out of trouble. Not tonight, not tonight. In vain you have tried to keep on a mask that hides your face from those who might ask. Not tonight, not tonight. The things you will learn, the things you will know, the things you will read, the things that will grow in your mind. Oh, tonight, I've never before seen a boy so green, seen a man so fresh, a mind so clean. Oh, tonight, wondrous night, there is so much of the world you can taste, if only you know how. There is so much that you don't know, but I can show you now.
Oh, nice to meet you. Oh, there. Nice to meet you. The names of the birds, the names of the flowers,
The names of the men and their secret lovers. Oh, tonight, wondrous night.
the names of my friends,
The names of your folks
the names of the ladies,
and their bitter woes. Oh, tonight, wondrous night. The names of of the butterflies, pretty wings, the names of the cheaters, the sinners, their flings. Oh, tonight, wondrous night.
This big wide world, there's so much more to it. If only look, this beautiful secret. Oh, tonight, wondrous night. There is so much of the world I can taste. If only I know how. There is so much that I don't know, but he can show me now. Tonight, 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 tonight.
What are you looking at?
Observing the people. You can tell quite a lot about a person from the way they want to be perceived in public. Most everyone tries to be the mysterious stranger in the park, but I can't say that many succeed. She looks rather forlorn, don't you think?
I suppose, though, what gives you that impression?
Her name is Miss Margaret Thorne. She was to be married to a fellow called George Barker, but a few weeks ago it didn't follow through. Obviously. I knew it all along. They were far too much in love to ever be married.
That seems a rather strange philosophy to me, Augustus. Surely it is love that makes people decide to marry in the first place.
Where have you been, dear boy? Most everyone knows that marriages only work if both parties utterly despise each other. They view the marriage as an obligation, and therefore don't have any wishes or expectations of it. Those who marry for love want their passions to be embodied perfectly. When they aren't, they become bitterly disappointed. Humans have such low expectations for dull things and such high expectations for lovely ones.
Do you have an answer for everything?
Of course I do, and I'm always quite right. See that boy over there? I've read his writing. It's dreadful. Utterly dreadful. His prose has no content to it, so he compensates by making it unbearably lengthy and ends up writing screams without saying anything whatsoever. His parents have pampered him to believe he is a modern genius to be remembered forever. How positively awful. You'll be lucky to be remembered at all.
That isn't very kind. Isn't it cruel to say such things about a boy so young? And for what? Simply following his passions?
But it's true. It may be cruel, yes, but it's true. If we try to shield ourselves from the truth, we only end up blinding ourselves in a sweet delusion of what is considered right and what is considered just. That poor boy has never been told the truth about his writing. Look where it will lead him. He will live out his sorry years believing he has been wronged, and he will never find his true calling because of it. All knowledge is sacred, no matter how seemingly trite, immoral, or evil. We can learn from bad truths and mirror good ones. This way, we are constantly reinventing ourselves.
I suppose you are right. Quite right. I wouldn't want anyone to lie to me, especially in kindness.
Exactly as you should feel. There's only one sin more heinous than ignorance. It is the willful discarding of the truth for the sake of kindness. It calls itself flattery. Now come, dear Mrs. Cotterill will be waiting.
Mrs. Cotterill, where do you want these chairs to go?
I think just over in that far corner. I'm so excited.
God, it's so
Meet Edward, my new muse. We haven't parted since we met yesterday. I don't know how he looked at me.
I didn't think I was living until I met and barely surviving.
I would think that you were flattering me, dear boy, if I did not know your statement to be absolutely true.
Well, dear Augustus, I would think you were joking if I did not know that you wholeheartedly believe each word that you say.
Of course I believe each word I say. It's very difficult not to believe the truth. Only the foolish and the thoroughly indoctrinated can manage it.
Why? What could you mean by that? Do educate men in your philosophies. They're ever so entertaining.
They're not intended to be entertaining, they're intended to be correct. However, I shall explain. The indoctrinated of this world are immune to truth, so they have created their own. They mistake argument for fact, and this is their fatal vice. It is why they are so utterly and unshakably impossible to convince that it's anything but the idea they have clung to.
I know that you must be right, for you always are. But I always believe that the truth can indeed be subjective. People can give many different accounts of the same situation. How do we know which one is truthful?
Really quite simple indeed. They are all wrong. Truth cannot ever be attained through perception. We should aim to seek out true fact, true knowledge, untainted by any subjectivity. For all knowledge is sacred if one does not try to perceive it.
Yes, that makes sense now. Perfect sense. You really do make the world seem so simple.
It all sounded very philosophical. I'm sure it's quite lovely. I didn't understand a single word of it, but it sounded very interesting.
Isn't it interesting, Mrs. Cottrell, that your husband should be so utterly devoted to young Marianne?
Yes, I suppose it is rather. I never expected him to take to young girls such as she, for he never did like children very much. But he's very fond of her. It's very promising for his future as a father.
His devotion to her is parental, would you say?
Oh yes, she's like a daughter to him.
It would be a strange world, wouldn't it, Mrs. Cottrell, if all men loved their daughters in such a way?
Yes, I expect the world would be much nicer if they did. Men don't give nearly enough attention to their daughters in this age.
You should follow them. What? Go after them. Don't you want to find out their secrets?
You don't mean to assume. No, surely not. I'm sure it's something very mundane.
It's merely a hypothesis. And unless you find out, it will never be proven. This is no different from the books, no different from the facts I have shown you. Have I not said time and time again, all knowledge is sacred?
I suppose, though, I don't think it's my place to...
Everywhere can be your place if you make it. It is your place to learn everything. You should pursue every piece of knowledge that is presented before you. Why should that be any different?
All right. But you must come with me.
Gladly. Go on. So, my hypothesis is correct. I can tell simply by the look on your face, dear boy.
Yes, it is true.
Are you not glad to have confirmed the theory?
No, I would have rather never have learned of it. Or at least not by spying like some lowly...
Oh, God! You are such a prude. If you've not learned so delicious a secret, then you'll be utterly naive to all the sins of the world. Besides, there are far worse sins than those of the flesh. Each man has his little vices, and Mr. Cottrell's is really quite tame in comparison. You're simply young, that is all. Never experienced such secrets before.
Shall find it rather difficult to forget.
You are quite right. You shall not forget it. It shall follow you throughout your life, shape you, influence you, and warp the way you live. Think of the power it has given you. Think of the dainty youth you have shed through its sinfulness. You can do so much more because of it. Edward, when one knows everything, you can do anything.
Why is this so wonderful to you? Why are you taking such joy out of this? You should be discussing it. A young man and a young lady and a married man.
I told you, all knowledge is sacred. Even the filthiest of knowledge has its place.
Tell Mrs. Cottrell I have to leave. I hadn't time to bid her goodbye.
Edward.
Percy,
I haven't seen you at the goldfields at all. Where did you get to? I was looking forward to it.
to what?
Having a companion with me. It sounds silly, but it gets lonely out there. Nothing but you and the dirt in your hands. I think you could drive yourself crazy.
I'm sorry for... I don't know.
Oh, you don't need to be sorry, but will you come? My offer still stands. I really do want to help you.
For what? Don't you want anything in return?
With company. That's all I want, truly. So, would you like a second chance to take up my offer?
I would. It's just... Have you ever gotten caught up in something personal? Into a situation that feels unsolvable? That once you're in it, you can't ever escape from it?
Of course. I've got into many a scrap in my day. But they always sort themselves out, if you want them to.
You make it sound so easy.
Well, it can be. No point suffering and grieving over something you can change.
Well, have you ever learned something you wish you hadn't? Felt like you crossed some sort of invisible line that once crossed will forever mark your footsteps? Or followed someone who you thought was wise and wonderful but realized they were cruelty too late?
I can't say that I have. Look, you're caught in something, I can tell. Why not tell me, and I can help you be rid of all of it?
It's never that simple. And even if it was, you couldn't help anyway.
Lord, I can't help you if you don't let me try.
I've learned too much. That's all I can say. That's all I can bring myself to say.
I know you'll think me a foolish, uneducated man, Edward. But I've never cared much for knowledge, anyway. All the poets and philosophers were miserable. Some things are best left untouched. I like the quiet kind of learning. The best berries to pick in the summer. The best places to dig for gold. The clearest spots to look for the stars. The little things about your lover. It's yours alone to know.
That sounds lovely, Percy.
Come tomorrow. You can hear more of my silly ideas. Hell, I can talk all day if you like.
I'll try.
Everything all right, sir?
Oh, yes, fine, thank you.
Edward, isn't it?
It is. How did you know?
Lucky guess. And the registry, of course.
Ah, yes. Silly me not to have realized. Have you always worked here? It seems that I've never noticed you around before.
Yes, I've worked here many years now. Have you never noticed me?
I'm sorry, but I haven't.
Well, that's a shame. I always like to be noticed. I'm Helen.
Edward.
I've seen you around before. Always with that dandy of yours.
Ah, yes. Him.
What's the matter? In a quarrel?
No, it's all a dreadful mess, really.
Oh my! Oh, do tell! I've acquired quite the taste for gossip. Whenever people walk through the lobby, I always try to catch little snatches of what or whom they're speaking of. I suppose I shouldn't, but one must have a little luxury, mustn't they?
I'm afraid it's nothing very exciting. I might as well speak the truth. I discovered an affair between a young lady and a married man. Saw them embracing, kissing, whispering things to each other.
Oh my! Oh, poor thing. That must have been simply dreadful.
It was, but you see, Augustus, told me to do so. He always tells me that knowledge is the greatest virtue of life, but I feel I could have lived my whole life without that piece of knowledge. What do I gain from that?
I couldn't agree more. I never believed in books and all that nonsense. I'd much rather experience it all for myself. Good drinking company is far better than any dusty old tome.
I must admit, I'd never been to a party simply to enjoy myself. It was always to learn of man's vices, their woes, their secrets. Never to enjoy myself.
Why, what's the point of that? Life's far too short to be chasing silly virtue. No. Leisure is what life should truly be about. Aren't there things you want? Wonderful things?
Yes, I suppose there are. When I first came here, I wanted to get rich. I wanted to go to parties. I wanted to find society all gold and glamour.
I can show you that. I know all of the beautiful people and things in this town as intimately as I know the lines on my own face.
Truly, you do?
Of course. Of the many people who walk in each day, none escape my gaze. And soon they'll find themselves buying me gifts and inviting me to their parties. You'd fit in wonderfully, you know, with your fresh air. So unaffected.
Well, thank you, but I'm not so sure. Wouldn't they think of me nothing but a foolish youth?
Look at yourself. Look at your clear skin, untainted with lines and unmarred by scars. Look at your red lips, red as crushed berries, red enough for one to be stained crimson if they ever dared kiss them. Look at your eyes, filled with sorrow as they are. Look at how they gleam with unlimited promises and unbridled dreams. You are an Adonis, a Narcissus, untouched by any bitterness of age. You must surely fill hearts with hope each time that you smile, and shatter them to pieces each time that you frown.
You flatter me. I'm not worthy of such poetic praise. I am nothing like you say I am. I am but a boy.
And doesn't everybody long for you? Doesn't everybody want to be as untouched as you are?
to listen to your apologies, Augustus. I want nothing to do with your secrets, your so-called hidden knowledge.
Apologise? Why should I be the one apologising? Do you realise what a terrible mess you left me back there? I had to explain away your absence to nearly everyone at the party, you know. Selfish what you did. You mustn't let your naive sensibilities let you forget about others.
You told me it was wonderful to have that knowledge, but it isn't. Not at all. I would have been much happier if I hadn't found out.
Happier? Of course you would have been happier. Happiness is such a fleeting state of mind. It only comes when one has no new sensations to uncover, no new things to unravel. It comes from constancy, and with constancy comes ignorance.
I am not going to listen to your ideas, Augustus. I have found a new philosophy. I am no longer going to suffer for the sake of knowledge. I'm going to live for my own pleasure, fulfill my own needs.
Of course you found something else to follow. But know this, you cannot ever get rid of me. You've chosen my ideals, and they shall follow you throughout your life. You made your choices then, and you must face the consequences now. Though you may try and rid yourself of me, I shall cling to your life in an ever-present trail. I have done too much for you. You just stop listening. I have taught you too much. You just abandon my ideas. You owe me too much to ever get rid of me.
Threaten me all you like. Helen will protect me now.
I must have taught you nothing if you believe that anyone's out to help you in this world.
Another successful ball, my dear. I can't imagine how dull life must have been for all these people until you came along.
Ah, it's all the people that truly make the night come alive.
All the same, you are truly radiant. So far from the crudeness of the workers and gold miners who are so common here. Your outfit tonight is simply stunning. And are those new cufflinks?
Why, yes, they are. I don't ever wear the same pair twice.
I've taught you well.
Yes, you have.
See, isn't this all so much better than that silly knowledge nonsense you were on about? After all, what is the only true human desire? What do we ever do but want something new? A new jewel, a new jacket, a new hat? I think that's why people adore you so much. They can feel the newness of you, like a fresh dress strap with its fabric still stiff and color still perfect. Imagine how unhappy you must have been.
Yes, I'm happy.
I suppose I'd get to go, my sweet. The hotel awaits. But I do congratulate you. I'll see you tomorrow, much the same, I expect.
Yes. Good night, Helen.
Good night.
A cliche, socialite by day, lonely in these awkward mornings. All of my wishes for these damned dishes, to have more than one glass, for it to be full, filled to the brim with all the things belongings. What did I buy them for anyway? I don't need them. What can I say when I'm at the gates, stained with gold and filled with all of this weight? I am alone, the crowd cheers me on, while I try to dance it all away. Try to sing before I pray. What am I to say? What can defend me? What can I do? No one could end me. Who can I love? It's too late to start. And oh, how I pity the state of my heart. My heart. Champagne down the sink, scrub the stains out from my dinner jacket. Look at me as proud as can be, sticky with another's happiness. And oh, do I try to see what they see? I think I did once, back when I was free. And now I'm there and I don't want it. My wax has melted, I've flown too high. So what am I to say? No words can defend me. What can I do? No weapon could end me. Who can I love? It's too late to start. And oh, how I pity the state of my heart. My heart.
Percy.
Scarcely know what to say to you anymore. I just wanted to find you. You do this every night? Do you?
Yes, I suppose I do.
Ever get tired of it?
Dreadfully.
I I see you around, prancing about in your suits and jewellery. I would hate it if it weren't you. It's different for some reason. Why did you never come?
I don't know. Too afraid, too stupid. I've always been a fool person. It always seems too late for everything once I'm amongst it all.
We'll be here tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Come on.
Hi. Thank you all for coming tonight. Lovely to see you all again. Thank you. We must be. Thank you so much. Here for a cigarette.
No. I hate the hard things.
Oh. Here for a drink then.
No. I'm rather particular about it, you see. It's the one thing I get to be snobbish about. I'm sorry. You see, I'm having a dreadful night.
Oh, really?
Yes. I went to a party despite hardly knowing anyone there. Instead of talking to people, decided to brood in the corner like the fool I am.
Is that so?
Quite. And then when a charming man was so good as to try to initiate a conversation with me, I shunned him because of my silly morals.
Well, I don't think the charming man minds too much. He shunned you too, many times. Although, it seems so long ago now.
It does, doesn't it? I feel so stupid here, Edward. I can see how everyone looks at me. They see my rough clothing and stained hands, know that I'm a fool pretending to be grand. Coming to a place like this. I don't know why I came. Don't know why I came last night either.
Hang them off then. They've never had the opinions that they wanted.
Neither have you.
I should have. I'm a man of depth, you see. I'm draining my parents dry with all this grandeur. They'll never be able to retire for themselves. They send me letters, begging me to stop, threatening to take away my allowance. But I'm the only son and too precious to them. They never really let to stand against me. And of course, there's Helen. She simply wouldn't accept if I became some miner or banker. No. She insists I be a gentleman no matter how much debt I get into. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Anyway, is the mining alright? How is it out there?
It's all right. I have a little cottage by the edge of the forest. In the morning when I leave for work, the birds sound like church organs or bells. I'd prefer it to a real church any day. But I don't suppose you'd care for such things.
I think I should have cared for them a great deal more.
All your art, all your paints and turpentine and such like. I've never cared much for them. Perhaps it is strange, but I've always thought nature is the finest artist of them all. Men try to replicate her beauty, but they always go over the top somehow, all gold and gilt and filigree. You must think me very silly.
No, you're quite right. You've always been quite right. I think I should have listened to you from the very start.
Hey, Edward.
I find myself charmed by him. I'm really quite alarmed by him. Though he has no charm, I'm quite disarmed by his simple air. I find myself amazed by him, perhaps a little dazed by him. Though he has no manners, beauty to manners somehow. And isn't life about loving simple things? I find myself charmed by him, though I'm sure he doesn't give a damn about a simple lad. I'm sure he's probably had enough of me. I don't hold a flame to him, don't know why I came to him. He drinks far too much to know the gentle touch of a work-worn hand. But isn't life about wanting better things? But isn't life about wanting better things?
There you are. Where have you? Why did you have us of your company? Come, entertain us. Who are you talking to, anyway?
Nobody of importance.
Is that so? Edward, I've been meaning to tell you something. I've been thinking that a change of scenery would be rather lovely.
A holiday, you mean? Sounds wonderful.
Well, I was thinking something a little more permanent.
How do you mean?
We've been stuck in this dull little city for so long. It's filled with miners and drunkards and trash. Wouldn't it be nice for you and I to run away, find new sights to see?
I suppose it would, but I'm quite happy here for now. After all, I have established quite a reputation.
But wouldn't you like to start it all again? Sooner or later, these people are going to get sick of you. Perhaps they're already starting to. Wouldn't you like to live through all of the mystery and intrigue again? There'd be plenty more balls to be had, things to be bought, lovers to pursue. What? Somebody keeping you here?
No, I just don't want to. I don't know whether to do what you tell me, Helen.
On the contrary, Edward, I don't think you'll find that you truly have a choice. You made your decision a long time ago. It's not one that you can retract. We're leaving on the midnight train tomorrow. I decided, get to the hotel to pack your things.
Helen, this is also sudden. Don't you think we should...
You're being a miserable host. Go and speak to your admirers. It might be the last time you see them.
Percy, meet me tomorrow by the flower gardens.
Why? What would you...
Will you be there?
I'll come.
Good.
Edward!
Are you going to tell me what this is all about?
I hardly know where to begin.
What is it? Opium? Debt? A lover?
Nothing as simple as that.
Lord, how are those things simple?
Look, I arrived in this town, fresh and starry-eyed. You saw me on that first day.
I remember. I thought you were a fool. On that first day you showed up in the mine, and I knew that you had no idea what the world was.
I didn't. Not any idea at all. And of course, when I saw Augustus playing the piano in the hotel, I'd never seen someone so beautiful. He said he could teach me about the world. I wanted to know it all, but not everything is for a man to know. I saw things. I could have lived my whole life without singing. And then I met Helen, and she convinced me of my desires. But instead of wanting to know everything, I wanted to own everything. And here I am now, hating myself with every moment, yet still wanting. She wants me to leave with her tomorrow, never to come back. I can't help but follow her. They're devils, Percy. True devils.
They're devils. They're not real. Not like you and I. You've been obsessed, besotted, but you haven't been possessed. I know you, Edward, and I can still see the man who first arrived in town on that day, so foolish and eager and happy. It's not too late. Will never be too late. All this wanting to know, wanting to own. What is it for? I've never done any of it. You can leave Helen. You can say no to her.
You haven't listened. You haven't listened to them.
Listen to who?
You haven't listened, but I have. We all have, and so will you, so will everyone. The devils, they're not as twisted and gnarled as they might seem, Percy. They are beautiful. So beautiful. They come to us when we are vulnerable and slowly corrupt us, inch by inch, until our souls are blackened and rotten. Hell isn't hot. It is cool, refreshing, and we feel we can touch it with ease until it freezes our very hearts. We are not cast into a pit of flame. We inch our toes closer and closer, and only when we stand in the fire do we realize we are burning. Percy, what am I to do?
Oh, who gives a damn? I've sinned. We all have. No man can say he isn't a sinner. If he does, he is either deluded or lying.
Percy,
No. Don't say anything. Don't say a thing. I love you. I think I have for a long time. I don't know why. God knows I shouldn't. But I do. We could escape your wretched Helen. Run away together to somewhere obscure and live simply amongst the beauty of nature. I could write the most wonderful sonnets that only we would read, and we would relish in the shared joy of a life split in two. We would not need things, for we would have all the world in our hands. Wouldn't it be wonderful?
love me?
Yes. For what it's worth. Bloody miserable amount, I'm sure. But I do. In the same.
Percy, you're a practical man. You must know how foolish you sound.
I am smaller than this
warmth of a smile, and I quite like that. I am better than this bitter world. I don't know what it will bring. I know the heat of flesh, I know the green of stems, I know the teeth in my mouth, I know the bite of wild berries, and I am content with that. So you don't need to own a thing. You have all that you need. You won't want nothing if you get rid of this greed. And I will still love you without all of these things. I am a simple man, and I like that. Slaving away all day, as long as I come home to a flickering fire, to a body to hold, that makes it all right. Mind being caked in debt. After all, I belong to the earth, with the spring wildflowers, with the spray of the sea, with the salt and the seeds, quiet blackbirds singing. More than enough for me. So won't you stay? We'll find a place. Let's run away. We could become something. So won't you stay? We'll find a place. Okay, we could become something. So you don't need to own a thing if you have all that you need. You won't want nothing if you get rid of this greed, and I will still love you without all of these things. I am a simple man, and I like that. I am a simple man. I am smaller than this summer night. Summer night.
I want to. You must know that I want to with every inch of my soul.
Then why won't you?
I don't know.
Because you're afraid. Because you don't know how to lead anything. Because you've always followed others in blind faith.
Because I can't run from these devils.
You could at least try to stay away from them. If if you change your mind, meet me at my cottage at the edge of the mine, just where the forest starts. You can catch another train, go to another city. I'll be there.
Where you will.
Isn't it all so wonderful, so fresh and new? So many things to be seen. What should we do on our first night? Why, the possibilities are endless.
Is there less for me but vice? There's nothing that I want that I could buy. Horrid was that fateful day. I turned from him, yes, I ran away. It should have been him, I know. Now there's nowhere else I can go. On this bitter night, full that I can't fight, night divine. Try to find night divine.
Go rot, Helen. I can't stand this night. It's filthy, it's horrid. City lights are choking me. That star-filled sky is like a noose.
Edward, where has all this come from?
From you, I should think. You've taught me that nothing I buy will ever fill the hole that you have ripped in my soul. That is, if I still have one.
You know you can't escape me. all your desires. I have taught you to want. You can never be rid of that.
I'm too bitter to want anything anymore. I left the only thing I wanted back at the gold mines. He was waiting for me and I left anyway. I'm becoming too old for balls and escapades and gold and guilt. When I'm old, who will find me charming? A grey-haired, hunched-over man on the ballroom floor, dancing and drinking away my pain, trying to pretend that I won't die alone. It's pointless, Helen. All pointless. Every summer night feels like it's out to get me, and none have ever felt more cruel than this one. The world mocks me. It mocks me with its beauty and glittering light, opportunities that I cannot grasp.
I should have known that you had fallen in love. You were becoming far too sentimental. You weren't any fun anymore. Leave me then. Go. Nobody will give a damn about you unless you aren't here to give them anything.
Yes, and I'll be glad for it.
Just know that you can never, ever truly be rid of me. Or him, for that matter.
You're in a prison tomorrow.
So to hell with the world. Hell with it.
I caught my wife cheating on me, slog from the mines. Promise.
Down on your luck, are you?
Yes, quite. How could you tell?
I've grown quite accustomed to seeing miserable men here. There's something in their demeanor, in their eyes. I took one look at you and knew I was your sorrow.
You know, some time ago, people told me that they could sense how fresh and new to the world it was. That there was something in my eyes that told them I knew nothing yet.
That must have been a long time ago.
Not as long as you might think.
Well, what's plaguing you? You can tell me. I'm a tattered old woman in a second-rate tavern. I won't tell anyone. Nobody of importance besides.
I don't know where to begin.
No one does. Once you're in the thick of it, it feels like you've always been that way, doesn't it? It feels impossible that there could be any other fate for you.
Yes, quite. I followed things I shouldn't have. I followed the wrong desires, the ones that led me to sorrow every summer night where I spilled champagne on my shirt and the ballroom floor was covered in white and there was nobody else in the room to clean it up with me. I'd stand there, having learnt all the horrible vices of the world, wishing for nothing more than a quiet house and a lover waiting there for me. But when I could have it all, I still followed the wrong path. I've always followed, and in the end, it's never led to what I wanted, even though I thought it would.
So, you're alone now.
Yes,
And you could have chosen not to be.
yes.
Poor boy. I've met many like you. At first, in your youth, you thought that being simple was a downfall and not a virtue. Thought your lack of knowledge made you a fool, so you learned everything until you knew too much. Until you knew how the world could hurt you.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then, you abandoned knowledge for want. You wanted to own everything that shone, or everything that promised to lure. You tricked everyone into thinking you were this grandiose, beautiful figure, when in fact you were trying to dance away the sorrow that was already catching up to you.
Yes, all of it. Tell me, what does it mean? What is there left for me?
As I said, Edward, I've met your type before. You followed the path of a man destined for doom.
Distant? Are you quite sure?
Yes. Those things that you left behind will be back to get you in the end.
Haven't they grown to be enough?
Of course not. The world is far more cruel than anyone could imagine, much worse than you could have thought when you were still young and hadn't yet started the course to hell.
What am I to do?
I find that the only thing left to do is to shun the world, to hate it. It's hurt you, so why should you keep believing in its goodness when it showed you nothing but hate? Loved and being the kids we thought we were. Well, there's better things than earth decaying, people praying desperately for something better to occur. Well, there's better things than being you and being me and being who we want to be. What impossibility. Well, there's better things than growing up and getting drunk and being loved and being the kids we thought we'd be. We'll try for something in this world of nothing. We'll look for something, something that we're wanting. Oh. Well, there's finer things in life than what we've got. But I guess that we're stuck, so we better just make do. Well, there's cuter kids with pretty faces. People say they're going places, not so much the likes of me and you. Well, there's better things than being told your elders swallowed all the gold and left not a drop behind for us. Yes, there's better things than being stuck in a pretty little rut with posters saying it's glorious. We'll try for something in this world of nothing. We'll look for something, something that we're wanting. Why try for something? All we have is nothing. Why look for something? Nothing that we're wanting anyway.
I suppose you're right. Perhaps it would be best if I just sat around and waited. There isn't anything that I want. And even if there was, I couldn't have it anyway. Is this very late? How come we haven't been kicked out yet?
People don't tend to notice me. If they're not accustomed, their gaze slips right over me. Besides, I'm way at home in an establishment like this. You can find me everywhere.
What do you mean?
Don't listen to the ramblings of an old woman. I'm here to listen to you.
I haven't anything to say. I never had it in me to say anything original. I've always wondered if any thought of mine has truly been my own.
Nobody's thoughts are truly their own. We're all following one thing or another.
Well, I suppose I better go. Find some cheap hotel or something.
You wouldn't leave me, would you?
I've had enough late nights for a lifetime.
Well, when can I see you again?
Tomorrow. I'll wait in the park where I arrived.
Okay. See you then, Edward.
Care about Davy Jones'
fine.
Are you new here? I don't think we've seen you here before.
Yes, I am.
Are you alone?
Yes, I am. I could have chosen not to be, yet here I am anyway.
Oh, nonsense. Never too late to change these things, I say.
You're young. It's different for you.
You speak as if you're an old man.
Sure feel like one.
Well, I hope things turn out better for you here. I'm sure we'll see you again sometime.
Thank you.
It's a terrible thing, isn't it?
I don't think it's so bad. No. I don't think it's bad at all.
Do you truly?
No. I won't have any more of it. I want to know something.
Ask away then.
How did you know my name? The night we met, you called me Edward. Don't deny you did. How did you know? You're one of them, aren't you? As soon as you see me in a mess, my mind exposed you. Devils creep up on me and convince me of a new ideology that will only lead to despair.
Now listen.
I won't. And to think that I nearly believed you yesterday when you convinced me that I should hate the world.
But can't you see how the world has harmed you?
It was all my doing. The world is too big to hate. And there's too much in it to try and understand with a single idea. Knowledge, desire, hatred. I've learned that now. God knows it's too late, but I know it.
Well, you have made your choice. It shall be one you regret forever.
Threaten me all you like. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Sir, please, you must see this letter.
Do you have an address?
You know what? It's funny. I actually don't know what it is.
Afraid I can't help you then.
No, please, you must. His name is Percival Hunt. Percy to his friends. He let me call him Percy, though God knows I was never a good friend to him. He lives in the next town over, in a cottage, at the end of the goldfields, just where the forest starts. He said that every morning he'd hear the birds and how they sound like a church bell, how they sound better than any real church. He doesn't like art. He thinks it's all too much, you see. He thinks it's all too much gold and guilt. He doesn't like to smoke, and he's very particular about his drink, you see. I know these things. I know these things about him, but could you believe it? I don't know his damn address! Could you try? Please. Ask around, talk to people, try to find him.
What was that all about?
Can't say that I know.
You must have been mad. Yeah, crash the weather. We can't do anything with it.
I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore. But as I should be.
You know what must be done, Edward.
You may deal with us whether you do it or not.
Now hang on. If this is to be the end, I have something to say to you all. In my youth, I made some mistakes. I tarnished my face. I blinded my eyes. I followed fate. I thought hell was hot. It's quite that it's not. It's really quite cold and makes you rot. My heart is burnt black. The skin's on my back. From where I know my wings. Because all you can warn them of the sin of vice. They'll give in anyway. It's another soul unsaved, unsaved. So
beautiful ones. Oh, and you told me to know, you told me to go to any length to find the light. I thought you were right, finding the secrets of the world just ain't to life. You told me to want and no need to count the dollars, throw them all out. You told me to hate, perhaps that's my fate, perhaps I was doomed anyway. And soon it will happen to you all. I followed you in blind faith. You are all so beautiful, all so beautiful, all so beautiful. Once.
Good God, is somebody dead?
I believe so. Awful, isn't it?
Terrible, terrible. I'm afraid this doesn't bode well for me at all. This is my first day here, you see. I only just arrived.
Well, welcome to the city for what it's worth.
Thank you, thank you. I hope my fate will be better than this poor man's.
Ah, a young girl like you has all the luck in the world, trust me.
And how would you know that?
Years of experience. I've met many just like you in my lifetime. Even though it's awful all this, doesn't it do you some good in a way?
How could this do any good?
Well, think of it this way. You know it now. You've seen death face to face. You're no longer entering this town as a naive little girl, but as someone who has seen a tiny snatch of suffering.
I suppose you're right. Still, it seems rather a bad omen.
I see it as an opportunity for learning. In fact, I'd say that knowledge is the most vital virtue of them all. Wouldn't you agree?
A curious idea. May I ask your name?
I'm Augustus. Augustus Hughes. It's a pleasure to meet you.